Blessings and love. Welcome back to Refuge and Fortress. My name is Emmanuel,
And I'm Lonnie O.
and this is Before Yes. This is Before Yes, the segment of the Refuge and Fortress Network where we get to discuss everything relationship,
Yes.
right until you say I do. Honestly, this segment is mostly for, your single brothers and sisters, engaged. Perhaps you have somebody you have an interest in right now. And, you're just in that process right before you say, you know what, let's make it happen. You're
Yeah.
the one for me. You're my soulmate.
Yeah.
And I want to spend the rest of my life with you.
And I would say newlyweds as well, because
Newlyweds, okay.
you're kind of still in that beginning stage, that honeymoon stage. I feel like if you've been together, like if you've been married for quite some time, you kind of already got the hang, understand some things
Yes.
as to the importance of marriage.
Yeah.
But newlyweds, you're still in that fresh beginning stage, and so.
Yeah,
Newlyweds as
newlyweds. I mean, if you say newlyweds, then that would be after yes, because at that point,
After yes. So we deal with before yes and a little bit of after yes.
yeah, because at that point it's kind of too late.
Well, no, I would say it's too late. Meaning
It's
it's
too
too
late
late.
in-
Meaning like you can't. That's it.
can't
You
get a
already said
divorce.
yes.
Yeah.
But there's still some things to learn.
Absolutely. So there's always going to be things to learn, whether it's before yes, whether it's after yes.
So it's after.
Right,
yes.
but what we mean by before yes is before
Right,
you
before
cross
you
that
cross that-
line
yeah.
of like, you're
very important.
married. Very
Yeah.
important, because that is the foundation of what is to become
Yeah.
the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Right? So it's only right that today we deal with the benefit of marriage, right? The benefits of marriage, because a lot of people say things like, well, I don't need a man, right? Or
It's not even. I don't need to settle down.
right.
I don't need to put a tag on it. I don't need to put
Right.
a title. We don't have to get
Right.
married.
Right.
We're already good the way we are.
Right.
But they be watching Bella Ninja all day long. Or they be watching Maxwell's wedding videos like, oh, I wanted to. Shout out to Maxwell. Shout out to Bella
Defense.
Ninja.
What about
They be
defense?
watching defense highlights. And they're like, man, I need defense to shoot my video.
Right.
They say they don't want these things, but deep down, you
Deep
kinda
down, they
want
really
it.
do. But on the other side too, right? We have other people who are afraid of marriage because of their experience. Perhaps maybe they didn't come from a good home.
Yeah.
They don't have a picture of a good marriage. They've never experienced a marriage that's actually worked out. So it kind of put them in a position where they're like, marriage is overrated. I don't want it. I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
And so today we just want to come and talk about the benefits of it, though.
Of it, yes.
Right? Perhaps maybe you would change your mind after today.
Before we dive into the benefits, we just want to give a little background about us.
Yeah.
Some of us know, some people know us, some people don't. So for those that don't know us or don't know our story, so this is my husband.
Oh, yeah.
If you didn't know, we've been together for going to 11 years now. We're going to
Yes,
be
ma'am.
11 years this year. We've been together since 2011.
Yes.
We've been married for 5 years this year.
Yes.
5 years out of those 11 years. So we dated with purpose
Right.
for 6 years before we got married.
Yes.
We started really early on. We got to know each other. We did a distance relationship for like 2 years. And then he moved closer, and that's when the relationship really started.
Yeah.
So we dated for 6 years before I said
Yeah.
yes.
Absolutely.
Before he said yes as well, because for you to say you want to propose, you're already saying yes.
Yes.
So we did our thing before crossing that.
And it was honestly probably one of the best time for our relationship, for our marriage, because it gave us a chance to really, really deal with some like tough things that we're probably enjoying the benefits of even now in our marriage. We put our relationship through the test, from a family standpoint, from a financial standpoint, from a emotional standpoint, from from just being two completely different people, from different upbringings and backgrounds and beliefs and all that stuff like that. So it really put our relationship to the test. but it makes us stronger for it, right? Because now there are things we don't even talk about or fight about anymore.
Yeah.
That when we see newlyweds fighting about, it kind of like it's a shocker for us.
Right.
But then we come to the realization that, hey, we dealt with this in the
Early
5-6 years of us dating before we said yes.
Yeah, and I have to say that too. There's so many ideas or opinions as to how long you should date before you marry and stuff like that. But I think, to be honest, when you know. You could date 6 years and still not be ready.
Yeah.
You could date 2 years and be ready. You could date 1 year and be ready. It really all depends. So we started our journey very early, and that was because that's what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
So it gave us a chance to deal with a lot of things because we were dating with a purpose. We weren't just dating just to date. We knew the end goal was to get married.
Yeah.
So for us, we got to deal with a lot of things very early on in our relationship.
Yeah.
And things that today we are of the same page. We're on the same page. We're on the same mind.
The same mind.
Yeah. So
absolutely. Refuge and Fortress is an evangelistic ministry. We have a mandate. The mandate is to make Jesus real to our word. First of all, this is a safe haven for everyone.
Everybody.
A safe haven for everyone, right? We have a mandate to make Jesus real to the word, right? Real. When we say real, meaning Jesus is not a philosophy. Jesus is not some kind of man that you read about in the Bible. No.
Imagination.
Or an imagination or an infatuation. No, Jesus is real. The word of the Lord is real. They bring forth power, and this power, and they're so real that they're physical. They're physical. Like you can pray about a thing and you see it manifest in the physical. Yes. That's how you know the realness of this power called Jesus, right? So that's our mandate. Our mission, however, is to help you grow in faith and win in relationships.
Yeah.
Help you grow in faith and win in relationships. So we are very passionate about relationship. We will do the preaching, we will do the soul winning, we will do the prayer, but relationship is like really where it's at for us, right? So it's very important that we start this conversation, this kind of like before yes, like the segment of before yes in this month, on talking about the benefits of marriage.
Yeah,
the benefit of marriage.
Because in a relationship, that's the journey. That's where you want it to go to.
In a kingdom relationship, right?
Yes.
So I believe kingdom relationships are relationship with a purpose.
Yes.
Nobody in the kingdom is doing relationship just because, right? To pass time or to have friends with benefits. No. You must be dating with a purpose. There's a destination to this relationship. There's a reason why I'm looking to have you as my wife and you're looking to have me as your husband, right?
And don't get it wrong, because some people also have that mentality of marriage is not the end all be all kind of thing. Like it's marriage. That's not what we're saying. We're saying it's the next chapter to move you forward in this kingdom.
Yeah.
So it's not like, okay, we get married, then that's it. No, there's still so much more to be done, but now you're doing it together.
Exactly. So, and in fact, you know what? Before we go into the benefits, can we just lay the foundation that the whole purpose of marriage is oneness?
Yes.
Right? The whole purpose, and the two shall become one. That's literally the whole purpose of marriage. The whole purpose of marriage is oneness, togetherness, becoming one. With this other person. But then it's not just you becoming one. It's like you become one in your soul and your spirit, but then it's almost like now we have 4 hands and 4 legs and 2 brains and 2 heads, two visions, 2 way of seeing things, all in effort to try to get us faster to where we're trying to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the entire purpose of the oneness. And so we want to start, the first benefit of marriage is the spiritual benefits.
Yes.
God himself ordained the institution called marriage.
Yeah.
God himself is a God of togetherness. God said, let us create man in our image.
Yes.
Let us. So that's how you know, first of all, the concept of oneness is God ordained. Is God ordained.
Absolutely.
And I heard a sermon one time and somebody said that if marriage institution wasn't like one of the most important institution on earth, God wouldn't have started with marriage in the beginning in the Garden of Eden. God made Adam a husband first before anything else, right? God made him the head of the house first before anything else. God didn't say, okay, Adam, here you are, go be a pastor, right? Or here you are, go be a president. Or here you are, go be a businessman, or whatever you want to call it. God said, I'm going to give you somebody that is comparable to you. Like the first assignment is that for you to be a husband to someone.
Yeah.
Because God realized that, you know what? With all the things that you have to do, you're not going to be able to do them all by yourself.
It's harder.
It's harder. You know, you're not going to be able to do them all by yourself. To get far in life, you're going to need a compatible helper. And that's when God said, you know what? Let me bring forth a helpmate, someone that was compatible and comparable to him. Because the Bible says God looked around at everything he has created, the land, the sea, the ocean, the trees, and the animals, right? And God said, man, you know what? There's an ingredient missing.
That's missing. Yeah.
There's something still missing. And the Bible says, God said, we need to find you somebody comparable to you intellectually. You know, so one of the reasons is spiritual reasons, right? Spiritual reasons. And we can go on and on about some like subsets of spiritual reasons. What about prayer? Having a prayer partner. Right now we're discussing the power of corporate prayer in the Light of Living Truth that we host every Thursday at 7 p.m. We said corporate prayer, there's power in corporate prayer. When we come together as a family and we agree on a thing, because the Bible says, if two of you shall come together and agree on a thing, whatever thou ask of my Father in my name, he will do. It says, if two of you can come together and tell and agree upon a thing, you will tell to this mountain, be ye moved, and it shall be moved. That means that if we can come together and agree on a thing, no matter what the problem is, if we are together and in agreement on this matter, we can solve that problem.
Absolutely.
Because two is just always better than one. Right? So you have this combining forces, and you're able to hold back the force of the enemy against your life, against your family, and you have this combining forces where God honors your institution, because through you God can replenish and multiply his agenda in this word.
Absolutely.
The institution of marriage is what brings forth, the multiplications and the fruitfulness. It says, go and be fruitful, go and multiply, right?
Yeah.
So there is huge benefit from a spiritual standpoint as to why you want to get married.
Yes.
Huge benefits.
Yeah.
I mean,
and to add to the spiritual part of things, when we're talking about kingdom living, when you have a partner with you, it helps you, it kind of motivates you.
Yes.
You have one that's the prayer warrior and the other one that's a little bit, lax when it comes to that thing.
Yeah.
You can encourage each other. It's much harder to do this journey alone because you don't have the motivation, you don't have the help, you don't have you can kind of dwell in that moment. Yeah. But when you have somebody that's constantly nudging you, all right, you need to wake up.
And the Bible says an idle mind is the devil's workshop.
Yes.
Did the Bible say that?
I think the Bible said that. I've heard that before. And it sounds like it came from the Bible.
An idle mind is the devil's workshop. That means if you don't have someone to kind of get you out of your funk, you can get stuck there, and that's the perfect place for the devil to rest. Yeah. Because now it can bring all kinds of thoughts into your head and all kinds of stuff that will just put you deeper and deeper into that hole. Yeah. Right? Marriage helps you to come out of that and be all that God has created you to be.
Yeah, praying together,
studying
the Bible together, getting to know God together.
Yes.
Growing together,
growing spiritually together, and being able to accomplish your God-given assignment together. It is an institution ordained and orchestrated by God himself. Yes. It's God's will for your life. Yeah. It says it's good, pleasing, and pleasant will for your life, so those definitely from a spiritual standpoint, you want to consider crossing that threshold of marriage with the right person, of course.
With the right person.
With the right person.
That's the important part, yeah.
All right. So now we're going to go into the second benefit of marriage. The
Yes.
second benefit of marriage, we talked about the spiritual aspect of things. There are deeper ways we can go into the spiritual aspect, but because of our time and the things we need to cover, we just want to raise your consciousness in these areas so that you can start thinking about them and just to plant that seed in your mind and have you just start meditating on them. Like, okay, what are more spiritual benefits of marriage? Because some people, there's a show we're watching right now. The girl she loves this guy, right? She loves him and everything like that, but she would not go ahead into marriage with this guy because they're not of the same faith.
Yeah.
Like, and the guy was
spiritually,
they're not on the same. And the guy was so shocked and confused, like, well,
why is this a deal breaker?
Right, in this day and age, why is religion such a deal breaker? Why is your faith such a deal breaker? Okay, I'm atheist. It's not like I'm even saying that I'm of a different religion.
Right.
No, I don't believe in anything.
I think that's the worst.
And the girl was like, listen, you're about to lead me.
Yeah.
I need a spiritual
I love
leader.
what you said. I need a spiritual leader.
And you can't lead me spiritually if you don't even believe in God.
Exactly.
You know, and that was so powerful,
Yeah.
you know. So you want to be with the right person and there's some people who care deeply about that, where they need to be led spiritually by their husband to be, or husband even now. So
Yeah.
that's another spiritual benefit right there.
Yeah.
When you go into a marriage with a God-fearing person, you can get that spiritual leading and guidance from your significant other.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the second benefit is the physical.
Yep.
The physical. Yeah. A lot of people shy away from this conversation because it's like,
I don't know why.
We don't want to talk about it. Well, you're talking about sex. But it's important. Let's keep it 100. It is very much important.
Keep it a buck.
The benefit is you can have sex as many times as you want.
Yeah.
You can have sex whenever you want. Like, let's keep it a buck.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, premarital sex is not of God.
It's not.
Let's keep it 100,
Yeah.
right? It is not of God, and God does not put his hand in that.
Yeah.
So when you get married, you don't have to have that guilt. You don't have to have that that is like that cloud over you,
over your head.
you know, because now you're in an institution that allows it.
Let's keep in mind that we're talking about kingdom relationship. Right? Because even just as you just said that, right, I can imagine somebody going, well, I don't care about that.
Right.
Like, I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't
feel no guilt.
I don't see no clouds.
I don't see no clouds, but kingdom relationship.
But if you're a kingdom brother and a kingdom sister, you should know that the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom.
Yes, absolutely.
And the one way that we fear our God is by pleasing him and not doing anything contrary to his will, and not, committing sin, adultery, fornication, and anything like that.
And to be honest, let's just be real with each other.
Yeah.
We can sit here and say, well, it really doesn't matter,
Yeah.
or you didn't really think that before you got married. But to be honest, when you think about it, you would always have that conscience that pricks you.
Yeah.
When you're doing something that is not of God.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what you were taught.
Yeah.
You know what it is you're supposed to do and not supposed to do.
Yeah.
So to be honest, that guilt is always going to be there.
Always.
But the great thing about it is the minute you get married,
that's gone.
It's gone. It's like, it's built for that. You are supposed to enjoy that aspect of things in your marriage.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm not just popping out kids out of nowhere. Like, I'm not married, like, you enjoy the benefit of being intimate with your partner, with your significant other. You enjoy the pleasures of it. So you're able to enjoy that aspect of your marriage without feeling any guilt, without feeling like you're offending God or offending, the things of God. You're able to explore and enjoy that part of your marriage without having that cloud over you.
Listen to what the Bible says in 1 Corinthians chapter 7. It says, now for the matters you wrote about, it is good for a man not to marry. Okay, so let's balance it out now. If you don't want to get married, it's perfectly fine. Right? It's perfectly fine. If you're able.
Yes.
If you're able.
Yeah.
if you're able. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
My God.
If you're able, because there's eunuchs, there's all kinds of people that abstain from sex and physical emotions and all that stuff like that, right? So if you're able to, sure, man,
Amen.
hats off to you, brother.
Kudos
God bless
to
you.
God bless you.
But it says, but since there is, look at what it says in verse 2. Since there is so much immorality, when there is so much immorality, each man should have his own wife, and each woman should have her own husband because of so much immorality.
Yes.
It's almost like Paul is telling us, once you get married, this subject of immorality is
Out the
non-entity, is a no factor anymore.
Yeah.
And then in verse 6, Paul said, I say this as a concession, not as a command. I'm going to come back to that very quickly. And it says, but if they cannot, it says, now to the unmarried and to the widows, I say it is good for them to stay unmarried as I am, right? But if they cannot control themselves, they should marry, for it is better to marry than to burn with passion. And I'm just going to stop right there. If you cannot control yourself, it is better to get married. For it is better to be married than to burn with passion, urges, things you want to do but you can't do, because again it's going to lead to sin. So you burn deep within with this passion to want to have sex, to want to perhaps masturbate, to want to fornicate, to want to sleep with different women at different times, to have lust over somebody else that is not your wife. There's so many like immorality that could come with not being married.
Absolutely.
And so if you're not able to control yourself, one of the physical benefits of marriage is that it fulfills those urges that you have, those needs that you have. You know, now let me go back to verse 6 where it says, I say this as a concession, not as a command. Now it makes me just want to go very quickly. What is the meaning of concession? Concession here, Google it, because this ain't this. I mean, this is Google right here. Google. Number one, it says a thing that is granted, especially in response to demands. A thing that is granted, especially in response to demands. You know, your body demands this thing, and because you're not, you know, not everybody is as strong as Apostle Paul when it comes to that spiritual, when it comes to your physical needs. So it says, if you're not as strong as I am, it's better for you to get married than to burn with passion. You know what I'm saying? Now, the second definition here, I love it. It says a preferential allowance, meaning I would, if I'm placed with two options, marry or don't marry, I prefer that you marry. Actually, right. I say it as a concession, as my preference for you is that yes, go ahead and get married so that you can do away with immoralities, so that you can stop suffering and burning with passion, like Apostle Paul puts it, right? So there are great physical benefits to getting married.
It's freeing.
It's freeing.
It's a freedom when we talk about the physicality of things. It's a freedom that comes with it, and when it comes to that aspect of things, you don't have to worry about stuff like that. There's so many things you don't have to worry about. And then of course, what about looks, right? What about looks? Some people would go around looking at other women on Instagram or Facebook, even in real life in person. Their eyes just follows everything moving, right? If you need somebody to look at every day, look at your significant other. Because you know what? It starts in the mind.
It starts in the mind.
You know, you might not think too much about it in that moment. Oh, I'm just looking. Ooh. By the time you look way too much, you already mad. The next time you're having fantasies, that's what Jesus was saying. That's what you're going to see.
The Pharisees came to Jesus and the Sadducees, they said, well, if we're not doing this thing, then it can't be considered fornication or adultery. Right. And Jesus said, if you so much as look at them
or think about it,
you know,
you've
already committed adultery and fornication. So
you slept with that person in your mind so many times.
You undress them in your mind.
Undress them
your
in your
mind has gone to so many imaginations that it's like, bro.
And it only takes one more of that before you put it in action.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. You know, and that's like one of the mind is where we kind of tend to open the door for the devil to lurk in, because he's always there, just
he's
hanging
waiting.
out and lurking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so once your mind starts to roam and go in the wrong directions, the devil got you. He's like, yes, that's what I need. And then it will start pestering you. Like, just do it again. Do it again.
Yeah.
You want to get off Instagram, but it's like, no, don't get off just yet. Keep scrolling. Oh, look at that girl. Don't get off just. Or maybe you go out to the clubs, or you go out to visit with your friends. You go out to a restaurant or whatever, and you see another girl like walking by, and you just want to your head want to turn like this, but you're trying to force yourself not to.
Yeah.
You know. And the devil will keep nudging in your spirit to just do it and do it and do it. If you give in the first time, you will give in again. And again.
Yeah.
And again. And the more you just give in to those urges, the more you begin to manifest them physically.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time before you take it a step further and you say, man, you know what? I'm just
put
looking.
in the wrong situation.
Let me just talk to her real quick. Or let me just slide in her DM real quick. Or let me just, so many things. And so,
and to kind of balance it out, we're not saying that when you get married, it's
that
out
goes
the window.
away. No.
Like, it doesn't happen. There's so many things that happen in marriages.
What we're saying is, once you get married, there's no need for that anymore, bro.
With the help of the Holy Spirit,
exactly.
You don't have to deal with that anymore.
You know, once you're married, there's absolutely
you shouldn't
no
have
need.
to deal with that anymore. Exactly. So that's
like,
what we're talking about. Yeah.
Bro, sis.
That's why you marry,
know what I'm saying?
right? You marry the person you want to look at forever.
Exactly. Somebody you're happy looking at every day.
Yes.
I mean, I still look at my wife. We've been together, what? Almost 11 years now. And just this morning, I was looking at her and I was like, my. You know what I'm saying?
And I was deep asleep. Like,
no, I wasn't looking at her when she was sleeping. It was more like when she was in the shower. Okay.
Am I?
But that's what I'm saying, though. Right. I don't need to go on Instagram. I don't need to go on Facebook. I don't need to see somebody else's real life and be mesmerized by their beauty and their body.
Absolutely.
I've got a good one right here with me that I can look at every day, every hour, every minute, every second, you know? So those are one of the great benefits of marriage from a physical standpoint. It just kills those unnecessary urges that your body, your flesh has that you most likely don't have control over.
Absolutely.
And don't try to fight it.
Absolutely.
You know, Paul said, burning with passion. My God, burning. It's like, all right.
It's tough. It's tough.
And that leads us to the next benefit, emotional. There are emotional benefits in marriage. You know, we all have feelings and we all have needs.
Yeah.
Some of these needs are not only physical.
Yeah.
Right? So, because you can have sex, you can get sex anywhere. But will this one person make you feel the best way you've ever felt in your entire life?
Yeah.
You know, do they meet your emotional need?
Yeah.
Right? Because one of the huge benefit of marriage is to just have that one person that you always look at as your emotional support.
Yeah.
When you need somebody to be a friend, they're there. When you need somebody to be a brother or a sister, they're there. When you need somebody to just advise you right now, they're there. A mentor, they're there. When you need somebody to project your anger on. Hello? Because most people, it's not all kumbaya in marriage. No. You know what I'm saying? There'll be times where you're angry.
It's not enough.
There'll be times where you're angry and somebody pissed you off from outside. You come home,
bring it home,
and you need somebody to vent.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of grace for this person to just let you bring it on.
Right.
Just let you pour it out, and then still graciously pick you up. You know, pick you up. There's a lot of times where my wife would do some things and she would bring out some emotions, and I tend to want to generalize it and say, but you know, you can't be doing this outside. You can't be doing this in front of this person or this people. You can't be doing you can't break down. You can't cry. You can't do this like you're this, you're that, you're First Lady RNF. You can't. And then she goes, bro,
It's you.
It's you.
I'm talking to
I'm
you.
only like this because it's you. Don't you get it?
Like, what did you understand? Did you see me crying outside?
You know what I'm saying? And she's like, I'm not gonna do this outside. I'm not gonna show this emotions outside. But because I'm with you, this is my safe place.
Exactly.
If I can't be vulnerable with you, then what's the point? And that's one of the great thing about marriage.
Yeah.
It gives you the chance to be vulnerable with somebody.
Absolutely.
And not be judged or not feel some type of way about it or not have to bottle it all inside, because this is your person and this person is your safe haven. Yeah. No matter how I'm feeling outside, the moment I get home to my wife, man, I feel safe, secured. I feel like I just entered into the refuge and fortress, you know, and I'm in that safe place, safe haven. I can be my complete self without having to worry about anything, you know. And
to add to that, I have to say, even I'm not going to speak for women in general, but I'll speak from my standpoint as a female, as an emotional being. Yeah. It's important. It's important to have that person. Yeah. Because there are times where just knowing that you have somebody you could always lean on, you wake up in the morning and you have that person there. Like, you know how stressful and frustrating it is to deal with heartbreak, and you like this person and then it doesn't work out, and then you like this person, and like, it's so frustrating. But when you found that one person that even through everything, through the fights, through the argument, through everything, you're still in that happy space. No matter how many times we argue and we fight, or we get into, like, I'll give an example. The other day we got into a disagreement. I always call it a disagreement because it's not really a fight, because 5 minutes later we talking about something else. You know what I mean? Like, we've gotten to that space where our disagreements, they're just disagreements. We just don't agree on a certain thing. And that's just it.
I love the fact that you actually just brought that up, because this is for the after yes guys. This is for the after, and it's probably going to be beneficial for the before yes guys too, right? It's so important to give it a name. Whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is that you're going through, whatever it is that is happening right now, let's be able to define it. When we are disagreeing, we know it's a disagreement. Yes. It's nothing else. Yeah. It's not hate. No. It's not jealousy. It's not that I have some other bottled up emotions that I'm using disagreement to mask.
Cover it up.
No.
Right.
It's literally a disagreement. I believe one thing, you believe something else. We don't agree. In that moment, that time right there, it's a disagreement. So we should be able to, with the help of the Holy Spirit and with a level of maturity, be able to say, you know what, right now we're disagreeing on this matter. That's all it is. Right? Because we went to a restaurant yesterday, and I'm not gonna say no names, but we were disappointed, completely disappointed. But she wanted to go because she liked the food. She wasn't, you know, when we got the food, she was like, you know, it could have been better, or this other location serves it better. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. But I was just complaining the whole time because we just spent $100.
He was done.
So I'm like, $100 on this? This makes no sense. We could have ate in the house, you know? And she was like, okay. And then, but I was so like, in my spirit,
so irritated.
It was just bothering me.
And I'm over here trying to pick my shrimp. I'm trying to make the food look good because I'm trying to enjoy it. Like, I'm about to make it look all nice and everything. He's just like, ugh, what's this?
It was just bothering my spirit. They gave us this salmon was like tiny salmon. And we went back and we were like, wait, we ordered salmon.
Ordered a side of
and
salmon.
They're like, yeah, we waited. And this is the $4 salmon.
Mind you, this is like a kid's salmon. It's like,
and they're like, if you want it bigger, you know, it's gonna cost you double. And I'm like, I was like, you know what? Let's just go. So we got home, and we were eating. You know what I'm saying? We were on the counter on the island, and we were just eating, and she was eating, and I was still going on even after we left the restaurant and we got back in the house. And I was just really bothered by that $100 that I just spent on this no good food, you know. And so it got to a point, and then I told her, I said, listen, all right, so here's the half of the salmon. I'm gonna take half, you take half. And she's like, nah, you can have all
just
the salmon.
Just take the whole thing.
And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, nah, because I don't even like, you about to make me lose my appetite or something like, or like, oh, I don't even feel like
I'm trying to enjoy the food.
Like,
I'm trying to enjoy whatever is left of the food.
So she's like, it is what it is now. So I just want to enjoy the food and just move on from this conversation. And I'm like, so you're not going to eat the salmon anymore because we disagree on the thing? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, listen.
I wasn't upset or anything. I was just like,
an angry
just
thing.
Eat it.
Right? She was just like,
you want the whole salmon? Take the whole salmon.
But I was like, here, listen, I can be angry about the situation. I can voice my concern about how dissatisfied I was about their service and how, you know, the food they gave us and everything. But it's not going to stop me from eating the food. Let's be clear on that.
I'm gonna eat that food.
I'm still eating that food because I paid for it, right? So the same way, my wife, we can be disagreeing on a thing right now, but it doesn't stop our life. It doesn't stop the whole day that we're like angry and we don't know how to move on with our life because we disagree on this matter.
Right.
Like we can have a disagree on one thing right now, and 5 minutes later, I'm like, hey, what about that thing we were talking about yesterday?
No, seriously, that's the example I was gonna give. Like the other day, we had like a whole disagreement about something, you know, just stuff that we do, and we weren't talking to each other for like a minute. When I say a minute, and it was like
1 minute.
Like 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh man, I gotta tell this guy something because we talk to each other about everything, like literally. So when I learn something new, he's the first person I want to call. Yeah. But I'm upset. I don't want to talk to him, but I have this news that I want to tell him, and I'm like, I don't have anybody to tell. I don't have anybody to tell this thing. So I'm just like, you know that, you know that thing that I didn't tell you about this thing. But there's like so many things that you want to talk about. So it's like when I'm upset, it's like, yo, I don't even want to be upset anymore because I want to talk to you. You know, that's the point we've gotten to because you have that person with you that you can be. That way with.
And we're talking about forever, to have this person forever with you like that. So it's very, very important to have that. So it's very, very important to have that in a person. So
absolutely.
Once you find that person, it just makes the whole journey much more smoother.
Yeah.
Much more beautiful. Like somebody that is there for you emotionally,
reassuring you, they
constantly
love you,
reassuring
you, you know, like it's just a great feeling having that
your
person.
biggest cheerleader. You know, they want you to see you win. You want to see them win. They want to be there for you. You want to be there for them. Like you just have that rock solid emotional support on a consistent basis. On a consistent basis, because it gets to a point. You know, when you're dealing with in the spirit of togetherness, right? When you're dealing with issues in a single situation, right? Maybe you're single, or even sometimes in your relationship, sometimes, right? Your problems are kind of still your problems, right? You know, you can come to, I remember like a long time ago, like years ago, my wife would come to me, my then girlfriend would come to me and talk to me about her personal problems, perhaps at home or with a brother or whatever the case may be. And in my mind, I'm like, that sounds like a personal problem.
What am I going to do about it?
It's like, that sounds like a personal problem. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Not what are we going to do? Because he ain't got nothing to do with me.
Right.
But when you get married,
it's your problem too.
Your problem is not just your problem anymore. It's our problem. Yeah. And now we have to find a way to solve this problem together. Yeah. Because again, it's your problem, but if it affects you, it affects
the other person. It affects the home.
It affects the relationship. Absolutely. It affects the marriage. It affects the home. It affects the kids. Yeah. It affects everything we're doing.
Absolutely.
And so it is in my best interest to make sure that whatever personal problem I believe she's going through, we solve it together fast. Whatever personal problem she believes I'm going through, we solve it together fast. Yeah. So you don't have to deal with things on your own anymore. It's what I'm trying to emphasize. Absolutely. You have this other person that you get to share your problems and your joys and your happiness and your sad days with. And it just makes the journey even more beautiful. The journey of life.
It's amazing.
It just makes it much more amazing. Yeah. Amazing.
So the fourth benefit of a kingdom marriage, fourth benefit is the financial aspect of things,
which cannot be overemphasized.
It's listen, that's a big one, because now you have two people coming together, bringing together their income, bringing together their expenses as well. But you have a helper. You don't have to do this by yourself.
All
you know, you get to put your money together. Some people actually there are actually some people that don't believe in combining income, which is fine. That's a preference. We combine all our income,
everything,
because it doesn't make sense to me. Let me just say, it doesn't make sense to me, because it's like, okay, you have your account. I have my account. Okay.
You can do it whatever you want to.
Me, I'm a swiping card, because my account, I'm swiping. And then we got bills on the table that we both incurred. Who gonna pay it? We're gonna split it, put this money down. It's just too much work, in my opinion. So for me, it's like, put all the money together. We got bills, swipe.
I feel like money.
We gotta get this. Take the card, swipe. Like,
money is like one of the biggest tests of your togetherness, to be honest, because people change. Yeah. When money is involved. I don't. People will look at their wife and like, you are who? Yeah. You are who? Where did you go to? Yeah, you're my wife, but don't get it twisted. Yeah, you're my husband. Some women are feist about their money.
Oh yeah.
And they will give their husband that look like, yeah, you're my husband and all, but don't get it twisted. This is my money.
Do you know there's some different reasons why people don't do this though? Yeah. Because I've seen and seen, like, from experience. Yeah. Different situations as to why people don't combine income, right? So I can't say it's right or wrong, to be honest, because that's what I said, is a personal preference.
No, it's wrong, go. It's wrong. Let's flat out just be clear on that one now.
Well, the reason why I will say I can't say it's right or wrong, because, for example, if you say you're combining income and you have one person that's irresponsible with money.
Listen. Don't misunderstand me. There are reasons why you shouldn't.
Right.
Valid reasons why you shouldn't want to combine your income with your significant other. Doesn't make it right. But it's just what you have to do.
Doesn't make the situation right. Okay, I got you.
Know what I'm saying?
Because that person's head should be correct too.
Right. You know? But again, the reason why I said it's wrong flat out is because two shall become one.
That's right.
In all
everything,
things.
In everything.
All things.
In everything.
In all things. Yeah. Financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically, every otherly. In all things, the two shall become one. So it's not when money comes in the picture that we now say, separate. Well, let me separate my money because, you know, There are reasons why, valid reasons why some people don't do it. Don't get me wrong now. I'm just saying, it's still wrong.
And to be honest, it helps each other. And to be honest, it creates some kind of responsibility for each other. Because if I keep my money separate and you keep your money separate, I could do whatever I want to do with my money.
Your money.
And if there comes a need where we need money, there shouldn't be a reason why it's like, You understand what I'm saying? Like, it keeps that kind of responsibility. It checks you, each individual. Like, okay, so what did we do with this? Why did you spend so much on this? Why did we, you know what I'm saying? It's not a matter of, oh, you can't question me about my money. It's not my money anymore. It's our money.
Absolutely.
Whatever I'm making, you make it. And to point this out as well, don't look at it from the standpoint of, well, I'm making the most money, so, you know, I can't just combine all my money when he's not making money or she's not making money. Listen to me. Like, speaking from experience, you don't know what can happen tomorrow. You can be the breadwinner tomorrow. Today, your significant other can be the breadwinner tomorrow. So many things can cause the fluctuation. So many things. There was times where I was making money. There was times where he was making money and I wasn't doing nothing. Like, but because we've combined our income and we have that understanding, like, listen, what's yours is mine, what's mine is yours. It never felt like, oh, I'm not making money. It's we making money. Money coming in, we making money. You don't know what can happen tomorrow. When you trust each other to that extent, that's why you got to marry right. It's not a situation where it's like, I don't know if I can trust. No, I trust him with my life. So I'm not worried about anything that has to do with my money. So you have to be able to have that mentality of anything can happen tomorrow. So you could be the breadwinner, I could be the breadwinner. Either way, it's our money. So who cares?
Absolutely. And the way you got to think about it is this, that again, the two shall become one. Remember in the beginning, we said that when the two becomes one, the beautiful thing about it now is you have two hands, I've got two hands, now we have four hands. We've got two heads. Like we've got these two physical entities that we can put to work to help us get where we need to get faster. So while our brain, our soul, our spirit, our mind has become one, our agendas, our visions, our destination has become one
as well.
Now we have the ability to get there faster and go further because we're going together and we're doing it together, right? So when you put your money together with your significant other, you're able to do more, right? When we bought our first property, if I was to buy that by myself, it would take me some time. If she was to buy that by herself, it would take her some time. But we had to combine our income, our W-2s, all of that stuff. Our credits, you know what I mean? So, and it made us homeowners. Yeah. So you're able to do more together than you are by yourself. Not that you can't do it by yourself from a financial standpoint. It probably would take you longer to get it done. You know what I mean? So, and then again, also from a financial standpoint, you get to save more. Yeah. To be honest, because when you're single, you want to go out more. You want to hang out more with your friends and your family. Okay. You want to hang out more with your friends. You want to go out more. You want to spend more. You tend to spend more.
You live that single life.
You live that single life. But when you're married, you have that somebody that's checking you and saying, hey, babe, maybe we shouldn't spend today. Yeah. Maybe we shouldn't go out this weekend. Maybe we should save towards that thing that we've both been talking about so much. Exactly. You know what I mean? Or maybe we should save for the kids' school or a better life. Whatever the case may be, you have that person who will be kind of reminding you and nudging you in your spirit as to why you shouldn't spend lavishly anymore.
Responsibility
comes in. Even if you have the money, you now have somebody who's telling you, hey, let's be smart with how we spend. With this or with that. You know, and responsibility comes in because you're responsible to each other in how you spend. And then accountability comes in as well. Yeah. Because now you have somebody holding you accountable in your spending habits. If you have a bad spending habits before, now that you're married, somebody's going to tell you, hey,
vice versa. It's like, listen, we just have all this money in the account. Do we actually enjoy ourselves? Working. Don't, you know what I'm saying? We don't actually, let's go on vacation. Let's, it's a balance. It's a balance.
Well, I'm the guy that says, let's save, let's hold each other accountable. And she's like,
I'm the girl that says, let's go on vacation.
So huge benefits from a financial standpoint. And let me just close with this. The Bible says, one shall chase 1,000, and two shall put 10,000 to flight. Yeah. There is so much more to be done when we do it together. Yeah. There's just power in unity. Our God is Trinity. You know what I mean? Right? Coming together and just doing things together. Oneness. And so, having that oneness, that agreements, that one accord. It's so important, it's so big, it's so powerful, and it is God ordained. And check yourself when you are of the mindset that forget marriage. Right. I don't need marriage. I don't want to get married. I don't do this. I don't do that. Check where that's really coming from. Yeah. Because trust me, it is the will of the enemy for you not to be married because of the other negative aspects of not being married.
I mean, the devil doesn't like togetherness.
Exactly. Number one, togetherness. The devil doesn't like that at all. You know what I mean? Number two, sin. You're more susceptible to sin when you're not married. And then number three, your ability to achieve more, faster, and go further is kind of diminished in a way when you're not married. Let me balance it right now and say, there are some people that when they get married is when they put their entire dreams and life on hold. Yeah. That's a different conversation. Yeah. Marriage shouldn't do that to you. Yeah. Marriage doesn't do that to you.
No.
Okay? True marriage with the right people will not do that to you. Okay? Because again, you've been hearing us say, hey, it will help you go faster. It will help you get things done faster and go further in life. That's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Okay? But we should balance it out and just mention that there
Sometimes,
are some, you know what I'm saying?
Different reasons.
For different
that's
reasons.
a different conversation.
But marriage is just beautiful,
And
man.
yeah, I was gonna even just kind of also do a closing point with that as well and say, don't let nobody tell you otherwise. We're in this time and age where it's like divorce is rampage.
Yeah, rampant.
The devil is after marriages.
Yes.
Listen, it's not a mistake that this person has been together for 30 years and all of a sudden they're divorced.
Yeah.
This person's been together for 27 years, all of a sudden they're divorced. Divorce here, divorce here, divorce here, divorce here.
The vision is of the devil.
It's
Period.
not. Listen, that's not a thing the devil's happy about. It's against marriage, especially
Marriage, that
in
is.
this generation.
Yeah.
Especially in this generation.
Yeah.
Well, we're in a generation where it's, listen, I can do bad all
by myself. Uh-huh.
I can do it all by myself. But you don't have to, mama.
Or
You
bro.
don't have to.
Bro.
Or bro. You don't have to, bro.
Sir.
Sir. Papa. Papi.
Bro, who's your bro?
Who's your bro? No, but honestly, like, marriage is a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is.
When you marry your best friend, when you marry the one God has ordained for you,
Yeah.
it is a beautiful thing. Listen, I would testify to this because I want you guys to understand the importance of what we're saying.
Yeah.
We're not saying it because we did it and, it's what we should just tell everybody.
Kumbaya and everything.
I don't got time for that. I don't got time to tell you what everybody else is telling me. I'm telling you what I've experienced.
Yeah.
Right? Before I got married and after I got married, the best times of my life is after I got married.
Yeah.
It's not like I wasn't happy before or things wasn't good. Things were great.
Yeah.
But life is even better on the other side.
Yeah.
It's great because I get to enjoy doing life with my best friend.
Yeah.
I get to do things that we love together.
Together.
I get to, start a family and have this two little kids running up and down that look like a mini us.
Yeah.
I get to spend time and enjoy quality. I don't have to worry about heartbreak. It gets me upset and it hurts my feelings, but we make up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to worry about my heart being broken and be sad and none of that. I'm happy.
Yeah.
So marriage is great. It's an amazing institution
Ordained
if done
of God.
right.
Yes.
If done right, it is an amazing thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, if you will see a lot these days, even in new ministries that are coming up, and also this generation ministry. I like to call it that because it's kind of different from the older generation.
New generation
ministry where you hear a lot of emphasis on marriages.
Yes.
A lot of emphasis on relationships. There's a reason for it.
Yeah.
Because this generation, we gotta pray.
Because here's the thing. Pay attention to it. Married pastors make one of the best pastors. Married leaders make one of the best leaders. Married presidents, married, because it shows that you're grounded. It shows that you can respect someone other than yourself. You can care for someone other than yourself. You can hold a home together. Yeah. And if you can do that for your home, you can, of course, do that for your community as well,
exactly.
for your nation,
exactly.
for a company. Married people make the best CEOs, the best bosses. You know what I mean? There's a reason why the devil is after marriage, because it starts from there. Like we were saying in the beginning, a good home will produce good fruits.
Absolutely.
That's just the bottom line.
Absolutely.
A good home will produce good fruits.
Key word, a good home.
And the good fruits will produce a good word.
Yeah.
And of course, the devil does not want that to be. A good home will produce a good husband, which in turn becomes a good leader, a good pastor, a good president, a good mayor, governor, a good whatever out there.
Yeah.
Because the roots is in that marriage. A good home will produce your next best Serena Williams, your next best female presidents or vice presidents, your next best female speaker, your next best whatever, women power, So, but it all starts from a solid home, rock solid marriage.
And also to balance it out, when we're not saying just run into marriage.
No, of course not.
We're not saying just run into marriage. We're not saying no, that's just it. You got to get into a good marriage.
Of course.
You got to marry that's what we're talking about before. Yes. So that way you do it right. So that way you could have a good home. Because there's so many broken marriages because of that. There's so many things that have caused marriages to be broken because of that.
Yeah.
So you have to do it right before you get to that point.
Yes.
But the point is get to that point.
Right. The point is get to that point with the right people, with the right person.
People, yeah.
And that's why we're so passionate about this segment of RNF, the Before Yes segment, because there's just so much. And thank God for the way our marriage turned out, and is turning out by the glory of God. Thank God for it. But there probably are definitely a lot of things that I probably would have done a little differently if I had this Before Yes program in place.
Because we come from different backgrounds and different upbringings that makes us into deciding what we do even in the future.
Absolutely.
But thank God for God.
Yes.
Thank God for the Holy Spirit, because let's just put it out there. We're not doing this by ourselves. I'm sitting here screaming, I got a great marriage, I'm so happy, but that's because of God. Without God in it, forget about it. Forget about it.
So that's very, very important.
Yeah.
Very, very important and very key. And we want you guys to tap into this segment, this ministry period. There's a lot we're doing that is for the great benefit of the now generation. I believe every generation, I believe the Elijah generation are hanging their hats now. They've done wonderful, great things, and they've created the platform for the Elisha generation. And they're kind of passing on the baton to the Elisha generation. And it is now up to us to ensure that not only is our generation rock solid, but the next generation as well is rock solid.
The next generation.
And then there will come a time where we are the Elijah generation.
Exactly. And
it'll be our responsibility to pass this thing on to the Elisha generation. The question is, what are we going to pass on? What are we going to pass on? What are we passing on to the next generation if we are not doing this thing the right way? And that's why we put all these programs in place. And that's one of the reasons why I believe God called us into this ministry. And God alone be praised, God alone be glorified. So thank you. That is all we have.
If you have any questions, if you have any opinions, please do reach out to us, comment, DM us, Refuge and Fortress Network, Live to Love Lonely on Instagram, our Facebook page, our YouTube page. We'll post everything. But any questions, any comments, any opinions,
if you want to talk to us one-on-one, call us.
You're more than welcome.
If you want to come in person, we are very welcoming people. But we want to see you win. Our mission is to help you grow in faith and win in relationships, because that is I believe that's the foundation for everything. I mean, from a good relationship stems so many things, so many great and wonderful things in life. So I'm very passionate about that, and we want to make sure that you are winning in your relationship. Absolutely.
So we have many more things to come.
And share this. Absolutely. Share this with a friend, a brother, a sister, a cousin, a coworker. Let them listen to our podcast, watch our YouTube videos. Let them be blessed. We're coming out with different content.
Single or married, everybody.
So that's all we have for today on today's segment of
we hope you enjoyed
Before
it.
Yes. We hope we've shared a tip or two to help solidify your kingdom union today.
Yes. Make sure you share, subscribe, like, and comment
down below. As always, be the light,
be the salt,
and remember, all things are possible if you believe.